All right, let's talk about something that's literally building the world around us, but we almost never see it happening. It's called capital formation. It's kind of like this secret engine driving our entire economy. And today, we're going to pop the hood and see how it works.
I mean, seriously, just look around you for a second. That screen you're staring at, the chair you're sitting in, the roads you drive on every day. Where did all this stuff actually come from? It's not magic, right? It's all the end results of a very specific economic journey. So, where does that journey even begin? Well, the whole thing kicks off with a concept called capital formation. Now, that might sound a little academic, but stick with me. All it really means is the process of getting more of the stuff we use to make other stuff. Think more machinery, bigger factories, better equipment. It's basically about building up our toolbox so we can be more productive down the line. It's how an economy literally invests in its own future.
And this isn't just some one-off event. It's a whole journey, a three-step process, really. It's about how money travels from being just, savings, all the way to becoming a real, tangible thing, like a new factory or a fleet of trucks. So let's break down that journey. It's got three main stops. First, you've got to have savings. Second, those savings need to be gathered up. And third, that collected money has to be invested. We're going to take a look at each one step by step.
Okay, so step one, creating savings. This is the absolute starting point. I mean, think about it. Before you can invest in building something new, you need some resources that aren't being used up right now. And that, my friends, is exactly what savings are. It's the bedrock of this whole process. So what makes people, or even a whole country, save money? Well, it pretty much boils down to three things. First, you need the ability to save, right? You have to have enough income after you've paid your taxes to even have anything left over. Then there's the desire to save. Like, is it worth it? If you get good interest, you're much more motivated. And finally, you need the opportunity to save. If things are chaotic and unsafe, saving is probably the last thing on your mind. You need a stable environment.
All right, so people and companies are putting some money aside. Great, but a little bit of savings here, a little there, that's not going to build a new airport, is it? All that scattered cash needs to be brought together. And that leads us straight to step two, mobilizing all those savings.
I love this saying because it's so simple but so true. Money under a mattress can't build a factory. If all our savings just sit there, hidden away and doing nothing, then they're totally useless for growing the economy. For this whole capital formation thing to work, that money has to get out there and get to work. And this is where institutions like banks come into play. They're the crucial middlemen. They go around and collect all those individual savings from you, from me, from businesses, and they pool it all together. They're the ones who turn a bunch of small, scattered puddles of cash into one big, powerful river of money that's ready to be invested. Okay, so we've made it to the final step, the grand finale. The savings exist, they've been gathered up, now it's time to actually do something with them. This is the action phase, the investment of those savings. So, what actually convinces someone, an entrepreneur, to take on the risk of borrowing all that money to build something new? It really comes down to a simple calculation. First, if interest rates are low, it's cheaper to borrow, which makes the whole idea a lot more attractive. But that's not enough. They also need to have a pretty high expectation of making a profit. They have to believe that the reward is going to be worth the risk. So we've gone all the way from someone deciding to put a few bucks in the bank to a business leader deciding to build a whole new factory. Now, let's kind of zoom out for a second and see why this whole three-step journey is so incredibly important for the big picture. When you put it all together, it creates this amazing feedback loop, right? Savings go to the banks fund investments, those investments create more capital, like new machines. That new capital makes us more productive, which generates more income. And guess what? That leads to even more savings. It's this powerful, virtuous cycle that just keeps building on itself, driving the whole economy forward. And that really leaves us with one last big thought. We've seen how this whole journey works when everything is running smoothly. But what happens if one of those links in the chain snaps? I mean, what happens to an economy if people can't afford to save? Or if the banks aren't working right? Or maybe the biggest question of all, what if nobody is willing to take the risk and invest? It really makes you think, doesn't it?